And welcome of you with this new video of our course Flutter and PostgreSQL. First of all, I thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you support me by subscribing to my channel. And if you like this video, you can give me some likes, and I appreciate it very much. Okay, let's start the video. And the first thing that we need to start our PostgreSQL server. And for those of you who don't know how to create a server, I take them to this course, Postgres full encrypted updated. In this course you will learn how to create exactly a fully encrypted PostgreSQL cluster of databases. Okay, so the first thing we need to create, we need to start the server. Now we need to create the database by going into the server using the default user, which is this user. Now we need to create, let's see which database is available in this server. As you can see here, we have two databases by the name of data and my app. So now let's create a new database. Let's give it a name, Flutter DB. Okay, the database created. Now as you can see here, we have created a database, but the owner of this database is this super user or the pseudo user. We don't need that. We need to create a role, and we give this role the ownership of this database. So let's create a role, give it a name by Flutter DB admin with create DB, create role, login, replication, encrypted, password, and we give it whatever password. So this is the way how you can create a role. Now role is created. Now we need to change the ownership of this database to this role. So alter database Flutter DB owner to so alter database Flutter DB owner to Flutter DB admin, database, not database, sorry. Okay, now the ownership of this database have been changed. Let's see. Okay, as you can see here, this is our database, and the new owner of this database is this user that we have just created. Now we have created our database, and we just need to use a database management system to connect to this database. I'm using this management database system, so you can select whichever system you wish for your convenience. Now there are a few things we need to create. The first thing is that we need to create a schema for this, and then we do some cleaning, as I call it, as a cleaning. Now schema is created. Now we need to give some grant options or grant permissions to this role on this database. Okay, now we have created the database, we have created the role. Now we have given permissions to this. Now we need to create the table, the first table. The first table will be you see in our simple application, which we will start it later, we will create 3 pages, a login page, a registration page, an update page. So we will need a simple table, a simple registration table. This table consists of few columns. As you can see here, there are a few columns in this table. Some company name, email, whichever suitable columns that for your requirement. But the point is here that we will use different types. For instance, the text type, or the date type, the timestamp, the numeric, and the Boolean. So we will give different types of data types, so we can see if we can persist these data types in the Postgres database or no. One more thing I need to draw your attention to now. If you are using an AVD, or you are using a phone to connect, when you're developing, either you will use the AVD or you will use your a real device, mobile phone. Now you need to add, if you are using your mobile phone and you're using a Wi-Fi, over the Wi-Fi, you need to give a permission for this device to access to your database. Otherwise, the connection between your phone and your database will not be done. So the way to do that, to give that is the case if you are using a mobile phone. So the way to do that is by going into the file by the name of hpg_hba, which is resides in this directory, pghba.com. Okay, now this file controls which user has the right to access to your server. Now in this case, you need to add this line, which consists of host and then the name of the database that we have just created, the name of the role that we have just created, and then the IP address of your machine, because the mobile phone will connect to the database via your machine. So you need to add the IP address of your machine, the Wi-Fi IP address, whether it's a Wi-Fi or it's a LAN. You need to add the IP address of your machine, and then you need to add the method of the secure connection between the server and the client. There are different types, either trust or MD5, or there are different types. You need to select whichever one is suitable for you. But the main important point is that if you are developing your application through your phone, using your phone, not the AVD, then you have to give permission to your phone to access to the server by, again, the database, the role name, the IP address of your machine, and the security method. This is, I have to tell you. Okay, now we have created all these things. We have created the database, we have created the role, and we have created a table, and this table consists of few data types. Whatever data types you are willing to persist its data in the database. So let's create that table. We can use also domains. As you can see here, you can create domains as well as a regular table and use these domains, for instance, in a column that uses a mobile phone, for instance, or a landline. Now generally Google doesn't like to use integer in when you persist the data in the database. So that's why we are using a domain, and this domain you can use different types, either for numbers or for even characters or whatever. You can create a domain and then use it in this table. Now once the created domain is created, then we can create the table, and now the table is created, and as far as now everything is ready, the database is ready, the table is ready, and we are good to go to connect our application to our database. Okay. The next video we will start the real coding for the connection between the Flutter application and the database. Thank you very much.